Don't cross thread it or anything. And don't tighten it up yet. Don't tighten it up yet. Get it snug. And then this little sleeve collar is going to fit down in there. Okay. Now I can put this on there. Like that. And I want that up tight, and I lifted that up just a hair. Okay. Okay, so now the Teflon tape, there was no Teflon tape on these threads before. And so I'm just going to tighten that up as tight as I can, just with my hand and my thumbs. Okay, let's make it snug. That's all I got to do. I don't have to use my channel locks or anything. Now, if this was a different type of nut, and if I felt like I needed to go a little bit tighter, you know, if it was a metal nut or something like that, yeah, I'd have to use Teflon tape on the threads, and I would also have to use my channel locks and tighten it up a little bit. I don't want to tighten that with my channel locks now. If I were to tighten that any tighter, I could have a chance to crack the nut. Okay. Now, if you want, you could turn the water. You can turn the water on, and then you can check for leaks. You can wipe that down, and you get a flashlight down here or something, and check for leaks. You could take this out of there and see if it drips, what have you. Then if it does, you might not have the nut tight all the way. God forbid you have the nut stripped on the thread so you don't have it on, you cross-threaded it or something. That's a no-no. Now, if for some reason, if it did start leaking, you'd have to go get your Teflon tape and take it off, put the Teflon tape on there, on the threads, and all that. Okay. I'm not anticipating that to leak. It didn't leak before, and I doubt it's going to leak now, although lots of times when you work on plumbing, it never ceases to amaze me. Sometimes you work on something and it starts leaking because you took it apart, and it was fine for 5 years, 8 years, however long it's been before anybody's touched it, and then you touch it and all of a sudden it leaks like a sieve. You're like, why me? Or if it wasn't ABS, this looks pretty good. This is actually, I know for a fact, 17 years old, this utility sink in this garage. And if it's 17 to 20 years old, chances are it's going to be black ABS pipe. It could be white PVC pipe, or if you have an older house, it might be a metal silver type pipe with the threads on there and stuff. And lots of times you touch something like that and you break it, or it's strip, the threads strip, especially if you see this, if this happens to be rusty or something, and all of a sudden you start taking it off and this thing breaks or something, or the nut cracks, or all different kinds of things might happen to you. So if you don't have an ABS one, you may have to use your channel locks. And these are adjustable channel locks. You just slide it to however big you want. And see, this is like a medium size channel lock. See, I could get the nut, I could get this on there and tighten it up, but I'm not going to, because I've got it as tight as I can go with my hands, and that should be fine with this ABS type wing nut. Okay, it's not leaking. So after you check it, And if it's not leaking, don't do anything with it. If it was leaking right then, I would turn it maybe a 1/16 of a turn or less to try to get it just a hair snug, more snug. And if it didn't leak then I would say, okay, fine. If it was leaking then I would take it apart and then I would put the Teflon tape on there. And chances are, once I got the Teflon tape on there and I tighten this up by hand, it would probably be fine. Okay, so different types of ways to get this to stop leaking with the Teflon tape or using your channel locks. Maybe you get it, you try to get it tight, and this nut, you get it almost tight all the way, and then it seems like it's loose. Well, it could be because this plastic nut might have a crack in it, or maybe for some reason that sleeve, that nylon sleeve inside here is missing, or maybe that is worn. If that sleeve is worn too much, maybe no matter how tight you get your nut and you get Teflon tape on there, maybe it's still leaking. Maybe you've got to replace that Teflon little collar that's in there, something like that. So there's lots of different things that could go wrong with it. And if so, you take that part to the store with you, talk to the salesperson, he'll get you the right parts, come back, try to put it back together. Again, Humpty Dumpty will go back together if you just have the right parts. Okay, fixed. Well, that was an easy fix. I'm glad it went okay. Hey, I've never worked on this one before. You never know what you're going to get into when you start working with plumbing, but I'm glad I got it cleared. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos. And I never know what I'm going to show next, so you might want to keep watching my channel and check out my videos.